It be time for R colored vowels. Pirate not included. Hi, I'm Josh, your pirate English guide. Today we are talking about R colored vowels. Now, I want you to forget what you learned in other places if you have already learned this before. And the reason is not because it's wrong, but because it's unnecessarily complicated, and I'm going to make this a lot easier for you. Now, first let's talk about what is not an R-colored vowel. Remember, we want to go based on sound, what we hear, not on spelling, what we see. If the sound is just just the vowel, even if it's spelled with ER, IR, maybe AR, like we saw before, then it's just It's not R-colored, it's just the vowel sound. So that's the first thing that would not be R-colored. The second thing that would not be R-colored is if you have a vowel sound before the vowel sound, but they don't actually blend together. And we'll see some specific examples of when this might happen. But just so you have a simple idea of what I'm talking about, there's the difference between the R-colored OR and the not R-colored OR. Two different words, two different pronunciations. So let's jump into R-colored vowels. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go through the vowel chart, and by the way, I have a new vowel chart, an updated vowel chart that I will be releasing in the next video. We're going to go through the vowel chart that we have, and we're going to talk about what is R-colored, what are the combination of sounds, not letters, but sounds that would blend with the sound to make an R-colored vowel. And notice I said the word blend. That is what an R-colored vowel is. You have basically a vowel sound, and then you have a vowel sound, and they're going to sort of mix together. So we get sort of an R flavor or color to that sound, which is going to make it sound maybe a little bit different, and it will make a little bit of a change in how you use your tongue. So let's start with the first two sounds on the chart that we can see here. Now we're doing these two because, this is good news, there's actually not any difference. Now you probably learned elsewhere that, for example, the word ear should be pronounced with the second vowel sound, and it sounds like ear. And that is true, but you can say ear with an E, or you can say ear with the second vowel, like an it. It doesn't matter, they both sound fine. I actually often use E, but I will also use I. This might be a dialect thing, but the point is that it doesn't matter. As long as you're in that range of the first two vowel sounds and you move to the in one nice solid motion, you're fine. Let's look at a few example words, and I will use both pronunciations, first with the first vowel E and then with the second vowel I. Ear, ear, weir, weir, steer, steer, fear, fear, clear, clear. Now if you didn't hear a difference there, that's okay. I can barely hear a difference, so as I said, it doesn't really matter. Now let's talk about the third vowel sound, and while we're here, I would like to give a big thank you to Siddhant Kapoor for the recommendation of some of the example words that we will see, including for this vowel sound. They're very good recommendations. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start with e. Make sure it's not the start of the diphthong a, which is a little higher. Okay, that's going to be up here, where we want the third vowel sound, which is a little farther down here. So e, and then we're going to go to air, air. Now you'll notice it's not air. Okay, we don't get a full e. It's like you sort of start almost a little bit farther back than you normally would. We still want the sound here, but I'm sort of pulling my tongue back a little bit for the starting position. And then you start immediately to pull into that So it's sort of one sound, one motion, kind of like a diphthong. Air. Now let's look at some examples. And another reason why this lesson is going to make things so much easier for you with our colored vowels is because you're going to learn that the way that I speak is simpler. Many of the example words for this particular sound will have a different pronunciation in other dialects or other accents. You don't have to worry about all that because we're actually going to use fewer combinations. So let's look at the examples for this third vowel sound, e plus the R color. Very, errand, error, marry, carry, America. Okay, so as you can see, in other dialects, especially if you learned British English before and now you're trying to learn the American accent, you will probably notice that words like carry or very, spelled with an A, are pronounced with the fourth vowel, but I say them with the third vowel. This makes it a lot easier for you. In fact, that brings me to my next point, which is the fourth vowel R colored, which does not exist in the way that I speak. So this makes it a lot easier. So the good news for you is you can simply ignore the fourth vowel, a, R colored, and pronounce the third vowel, e, R colored, air. Now, as we saw before, a, the fifth vowel on the chart here, is R colored, or it can be R colored. Now remember, usually when you see A and R, it will be the fifth vowel plus but there are exceptions, so don't focus on the spelling. And remember, we're going to start in a, and it might not sound like you're starting in a because you're going to immediately start moving into that as if they're sort of like one sound, almost again like a diphthong. R, instead of or R. It's not like that. Just as a quick review, some example words for this would be far, car, hard, part, sorry. Yes, sorry. In some dialects, they say sorry or something like that. I don't know. But I say it with just the ah sound, spelled with an O, but in this case pronounced ah. Now, the next two vowel sounds do not have any R-colored combinations. The schwa sound is not R-colored, at least in the way that I speak. I know there are some resources that say that there is an R-colored schwa, and in those dialects I'm sure that's true. Again, we don't really want to worry too much about the spelling, just focus on the sound, and for some speakers you might hear a schwa plus R color, but I can't even hear that. I don't hear anybody saying that ever in any dialect because it's not part of how I speak, and so you don't even have to worry about that if you don't want to. It makes it easier for you. Also with the vowel, of course you can't have an R-colored because it's already R-colored. It's already an right? So don't confuse this with, for example, error, like we saw. You can have an R sound and then the vowel, or we saw before insurer in one of the tongue twisters, insurer, and there's this little, not a gap because we keep the flow of the voice and the sound, but you can tell that they're not blending. They're two separate sounds. And we're sort of repeating the R sound. So that does not count as an R-colored So again, another sound that you do not have to worry about, makes it very easy. Now, a quick recap of the front vowels and middle vowels. E and E, the first two vowels, they would basically be the same combination. It doesn't matter which one you use, and you're simply going to slide back into the With E, the third vowel sound, we're going to go a little bit back, and we're going to still start here, but then we're just going to immediately move into air, air. With the fourth vowel sound, A, no R color, easy. With the fifth vowel, A, yes, there is an R color, and again, we're going to move immediately into the R. Then with the two middle vowel sounds, the schwa and the there's no R color vowel. So, are you ready for the O combination? This is where it gets a little more difficult, and it really depends, and we want to bring in other things like stress. Okay, we talked about this a bit before. Now remember, the key here is that if you see a word spelled O-R, and there are exceptions to this, if you see a word spelled O-R and it is a stressed syllable, then it will be pronounced with an R-colored O. Okay, so think stress, R-color O. Or. If you see O-R and it is not in a stressed syllable, with maybe a few exceptions here and there, it will generally be pronounced 99% of the time as just the vowel. This is not R-colored, it is just the vowel by itself. Let's look at some example words. Store, record. The verb, the noun is record. Notice it's unstressed, it becomes record. Record. Foreign, north, order, quarter, horrible. Now, some of you might be saying, wait, aren't some of those supposed to be with ah, or whatever that vowel sound is? Now remember, I'm teaching you with the cot merger. So that sound that looks sort of like the backward C or something like that, I don't know. That symbol in, for example, the word foreign, and I believe the word horrible, it would be like foreign and horrible or something like that. But this is not required. So the interesting thing about the cot merger is that some words that would use the unmerged ah sound move down to ah, and other words will move up to o and become or when we're talking about R-colored vowels. But you want to learn the easy, simple way that I'm teaching you with the cot merger. You can completely forget that sound for both an individual sound as well as in any diphthongs or in the R-colored sounds. Now let's move on to the R-colored oo sound. Let's take an example. The word tour. Was that R-colored? No, it was not. But I can also say tour. That is R-colored. So here's the thing about the R-colored oo, which again makes things a lot easier for you. The R-colored oo is optional. Okay? What you can usually do instead is say the oo and then go to the as two separate sounds, almost like two separate syllables, even if the word is supposed to be one syllable. Now, I don't know if other dialects do this or not, but this is how I speak, this is how people around me, how most of them speak, and so it is perfectly natural, perfectly fine, and you really don't have to worry about it. The one time when you do really have to worry about the R-colored oo is if it would make a different word. Okay, for example, we have the word boor and the word boer. Boor, boer. Two different words, two different pronunciations. Now notice that there's actually almost like a little W, like a whoop, right? Boor, when it's not R-colored. And keep that in mind because we're actually going to see more of that when we talk about connections between words in a couple lessons. So, in most cases, you can simply connect with a small little w and make it kind of like 2 syllables. Now for these examples, I am going to say first with the R-colored oo, and then I am going to say with the not R-colored oo. Tour, tour, lure, lure, hoor, hooer, manure, manure. Again, this is one reason why I define an R-colored vowel by some sort of mix or blend. If you put this little w between it, there's actually no blending. We hear the oo, we hear the and so that would not be R-colored. When we do the R color and we say or, see, the lips are out, you're in the oo position to start, and you need to move the tongue in a way that while the lips are rounded, you start immediately moving into the and then you can start releasing the lips. Or. Okay, it's a lot like or, which is more open a little farther down, but you want to keep the mouth more closed. Or. But again, for this combination, you don't really have to pay attention to that because 9 times out of 10, it is not required. And the last monophthong, individual vowel sound, on our chart is the high schwa, as I call it. And this does not have any R-colored combinations. That is all for the individual vowel sounds, but because this video is getting a little bit long, we're going to talk about the R-colored diphthongs in the next lesson. Thank you so much for watching another English Hacks lesson, and I will see you guys in the next one.